setup, resolution and size. We can use the Photoshop software for a very specific purpose that may be related to the retouching, compositions, or maybe we can design the graphics from the scratch. Every time we need to set up the document first so that we can exactly get what we are expecting from the file output. So inside Photoshop we can find the document setup option. When you open the Photoshop first time, this is the option that you get. Okay, suppose I'm going to close this. In this case, go to the file and here we can find the option called new, the first option. Control N is the shortcut to open this, and then after we have the setup of the document. Inside this list we can find the recent, we have the saved, photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, and film and video. Since Photoshop is a software which is widely used in the industry for the different purpose. Let's say you have one requirement to design the graphics that you want to take the print out. In this case, go to the print section. We can find some size of the page and their setting in the right side. Whenever you click to the one page, the setting options according to that is optimized. Suppose if I click on the A4 size of the page, we can get the size, orientation, resolutions, mode of the color, and the other options according to the requirement. In the same way, even if you click to the another page, size, accordingly, and the properties are changed. So these are by default size of the page which is standard in the industry is given here already. But if you want to optimize any one of the size of the page, their resolutions and the other property, that is also possible with the document setup option. If you want to create the art and illustration, in this case, these are the size of the page which is given here by default. In the same way, while designing the graphics that you want to upload in the website, you can come to the web section. We have very limited size of the page is given here, but we can optimize the size. In the same way, if you want to design the UI of the mobile or the iPad or the tab, we can find some size of the page which is by default. So those who are the UI UX designer, they can also use the Photoshop software to visualize the design. And thereafter at the end we can find the option called the film and video. For the video editing and the motion graphic designing or the VFX, we can use the Photoshop software. And these are some standard size which is given here by default. Like Full HD, we have 4K resolution, 8K resolution. This is 4K, this is 8K. But the same way we have other setting options are also there. Those who are photographer want to work with the photos, they can also come to the photo section. We have one more tab called the saved. So if you have a very customized size that you can use frequently while designing the graphics, this is the panel where you can save that particular size. One size is already saved here, that is 1080 a very common size which is in general used for the Instagram post, square size. So if you want to delete this, click to this delete icon and the size of the page is deleted. Now when you come to the recent, these are the recent size of the page which we used while designing the graphics. If you want to save a new page size, what do you do in this case? Come to the right side first. We can click to save here. The name of the size or the other that we can define according to the requirement. Suppose I'm going to make it Instagram post. Post size. And we can thereafter click on the preset. Okay, save preset option. Here also we can find the unit option. We can choose the inches, pixels, centimeters, any one of the options that you can choose accordingly. But in case if you are designing the graphics that you want to create for the websites, make sure you can always choose the pixels. And then further we can define the width. So I make it 1080 by height 1080. Orientation, since the size of the page is a square, orientation is not required. We can come to the next option is called the artboard. Inside Photoshop we have two different types of the page. So either we can use the canvas or the artboard. We are going to discuss about that also here. But for now, you can enable the artboard if it is required, especially for the websites. We can enable that one. Inside artboard, we have options to add multiple set of the pages. Or if you go with the canvas clipboard, we have one single page. Okay, so you can enable and disable according to the requirement. The next is the resolution. Resolution is something that directly affect your file size and the quality. So if you are designing the graphics that you want to upload for the website, go with the 72 resolutions, but is the standard one. We can choose all the time this one. But for the print media, we can choose a 300. I'm going to show you that also. Pixels per inch that we can choose. If you want the detailed types of the graphics, you can also go with the pixel centimeter. But in general, we can choose the pixels per inch. The mode of the color that we can choose RGB here because we are designing the graphics that is going to upload into the website. RGB stand for red, green, blue. So what you see on your screen, and when you upload the file or export the file in the JPG print, thereafter you can export in your website. The quality of your output is good if you choose the RGB. Okay, we can come to the next one, that is the bit option. So for more color rich, if you want to gain, you can choose the 16-bit or the 32-bit. According to that, file size is going to heavy. So 8-bit is the standard that we can choose here. The next is the background color. So we can find many options to this. Either you can go with the white background, which is the default color set on the page. We can also choose black in a very specific case, or the background color that you want to customize. So click to this, and then after here we can click and choose any one of the color. Suppose the red or the other color that you can choose here. But we can choose the white all the time because inside page, if you want to change the color, that option that is basically available inside the layer panel section, we can very easily do that. It's not necessary to choose the specific color. Only what we suggest you, if you want to export the graphic with background transparency, in this case choose the transparent. Make sure you can choose this also. The PNG format that is going to support, we'll discuss about that also further. For now, choose the white color. And thereafter, since the name is already defined, the other properties are defined, click to save preset. If you do this, now we have inside the saved tab, Instagram post size is added with the specific values as we already mentioned inside this. Okay. So if you come to the width section, here we have pixels is by default selected because this is default set of the resolutions, the size. Everywhere we can see the 72 ppi. So ppi stands for point per inch. So when you click to the one, here also we can see the resolution. If you want to change it, you can also type, suppose I make it 150 or 300, that is customizable. But 72 always maintain your quality and at the same time file size is maintained. So we suggest to go with the 72 only. If you choose the other one like the print, when we come to this, here we have the size of the page. This is related to the print media. And when you click to the one size of the page, according to that, we have the unit is visible, that is mm, centimeter, inches, any one of the unit that you can change. And according to that, the size also visible here. This is 8.26 inches. If you are going to change it to the millimeters, we can say we have 210 mm and 297 also. Since this is the print media, and if the resolution is 72, we are not getting the high quality output into this one. So make sure always choose the resolution 200 while designing the graphics for the print section. Mode of the color also we can change to the CMYK. Here we can find other options also. So CMYK stand for cyan, magenta, yellow and key. When we design the graphics and take the printout on the paper, we are expecting the same color what we are choosing while designing the graphics. In this case, if you choose the RGB mode of the color by default, which is if given there, then what happens when you design the graphics in your screen, that looks good. But when you take the printout, the quality output is not up to the mark because of the color saturation. Because RGB colors are more saturated as compared to the CMYK mode of the color. So in this case, we suggest to go with the CMYK all the time while designing the graphics for the print media. So make sure these two settings that is very important here. For resolution, always that you can consider 300 for the print. And the next one is the mode of the color. Always you can prefer CMYK while designing the graphics that you want to take the print out. The background is white over here. We can now click on the create. and wait for a few seconds only. And once the document is set up and done, then after we can see this is untitled one. The name of the file is not defined. 25% as we discussed already, this is zoom in amount. We can change according to the requirement. And then further we have the CMYK, the mode of the color with the 8-bit. This is how we can see all the details instantly, so that while designing and selecting the colors, you can exactly choose the same what you are expecting with the tool section. If you come to the color sections here, so this is foreground, the another one is the background color. When you double click to this, and if you choose any one of the color from here, these colors are by default the CMYK mode of the color. And then further, when you click to the OK, the color is active. And then further, we can design the graphics accordingly. The same color is selected, and we can see on the selected shape also. With the selection tool, click outside. And if you want to set up the layout of the page that you want to design for the web, go to the file once again, new, then further choose the web. Here we can choose Full HD, that is 1920x1080. When we come to the setting options, here we can find the width. This is 1920 pixels, width, and the height is 1080. Orientation basically helps us to exactly see what type of the design that we need, and according to that we set up the document. So here we can see we have the 1920. That means the more width we have as compared to the height, and for that reason the orientation is active. So if you are designing, suppose YouTube thumbnail, you can consider this landscape mode of the page. But if you are designing that you want to upload for Instagram story, in that case we have more height into the story as compared to the width. What you do in this case, choose the orientation, that is portrait. So portrait is just like a pole, more height we have, 1080 is the width, and the height is 1920. When we choose and click to the landscape, we have more width, and for that reason inside width we can see we have the 1920 pixels. Okay, so this is how we can very easily switch the landscape to the portrait, or portrait to the landscape with one click when the options is active. So right now the artboard is active. The resolution is 72 pixels per inch, RGB mode of the color, 8-bit, and the white color is selected here. Click on the create. So we can see we have the RGB mode of the color, untitled 2, 50% is the zoom in, and the layer 1 is selected. So if you come to the CMYK tab, you can see inside the layer we have the background is visible. If you create a new layer, that is also visible into the layer section. For now we can delete. From here we can click on the delete icon. So in the print media section inside the Photoshop setup of the document, we can find the canvas. And in this canvas, we can find inside layer the background, one single page with the background layer. And when you come to this is RGB mode of the color, which we already chose while selection and creation of the website contained. We can choose the web section. And since this is artboard, we can also find here artboard 1. In the layer panel section also we have the artboard 1. Here we have options to add multiple set of the pages inside the artboard. And to do that, when you just come to the tool section here, hold the button of the mouse, we can find the artboard tool. When you click to this, artboard is active. And here we have options plus, add new artboard. Click to this one, and a new artboard that you can add with this way. So we can exactly come to this option and see we have the panel is active. What you do in this case, click on the artboard. In all 4 sides we have the plus icon is visible. That basically helps us to add a new page. Suppose we have requirement to add a new artboard, because artboard is like a page artboard, or we can say artboard is equal to page. So click on this plus icon and instantly a new artboard is added. In the same way, you can add more. As per the last size, we have the same size of the artboard is added. If you want to optimize the specific size of the artboard, what you do in this case, click to select that one. So when you click to this, artboard tool is active right now. Okay. And the next one is the artboard tool also that you can active. We can find the options here, width and the height. Here also we can find the same inside the property, height and the width. Right. So this is the width, this is the height. This is the position of the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay. So suppose we have requirement to change the size, I make it 1080 and we can then further click on the next one. So we can see we have the size of the pages changed. And since this artboard is active, the same size of a new artboard that you can add from here, this plus, click there. So this is one of the important feature while working in a project inside the Photoshop. If you have requirement to add multiple set of the pages, you can try this option. Always add inside the artboard, the multiple pages options are there. CMYK, right? The mode of the color is selected. This is the print media page size. When you exactly click, what happened? Actually, the CMYK is switched to the artboard. And here also we can see we have the artboard. And with this way, what happened? The CMYK mode of the color is not working. You can only continue with the RGB. Let me show you with one more example. Come to the file and new. When we choose the print, and here we can see we have one option called the CMYK. We can click to select that mode of the color. And when you click to the artboard, instantly the code of the color is going to change. Because inside Photoshop, we have one limitation. When you enable the artboard, you can continue with the CMYK color. That option is not there. RGB is the mode of the color that you need to choose. But if you uncheck the options of the artboard, means you want to continue with one single page. In this case, you can choose the CMYK mode of the color and continue with that. And even if you have requirement to use multiple pages, you have such kind of a design requirement. In this case, you need to create multiple document for the print media so that you can optimize like the page number 1, page number 2, and so on. We have other softwares are also there, just like the Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, to add multiple set of the pages. There we have options for the artboard and the canvas. But inside Photoshop, we have one restrictions. Okay, so the software is optimized as per the requirement and we can see all the options are available and we can choose accordingly. Click on the create or we can also click on the close. So this is how you can set up the document and then further we can change the size of the page, the resolutions, the mode of the color, all options are available to this. Want to close any one of the panel? You can close from here. Suppose want to close from here, enable from the window as we discussed already in the previous session. But if you want to close the tab, right now we have two different tabs are there. We can click on this tab option. Or we can click to this tab section, hold the button of the mouse and drag to this. So with this way you can separate the tab from the existing panel list. And right now the tool is active. So if you want to switch to the tool, come to the move tool. So select this one. And we can also minimize, maximize the panel or close from here. So minimize it. Want to use once again, you can click to this and then after in the bottom side you have the tabs. You can enable and disable and then at the end we can find the option called the close. So whenever you close any one of the document which is not saved yet, so we can find the options by the Photoshop. We get a message, save changes. If you want to save this, define name of the document. Or you can also click on the no or want to cancel this and continue with the open file. When you click to the no, the open file is closed. In the same way, I'm going to close from here. So this is how very easily we can optimize the thing and manage the workspace area. And at the same time, we have all the features inside the new document, which is used while designing the graphics. So make sure when you have some requirement, you want to design a very specific thing that may be related to the print or the digital media. In this case, you can optimize your user interface and then the document also, because here we can find the unit, the size, orientation, artboard, resolution, and the mode of the color that we can choose according to the requirement. So once the design is ready, we can exactly get the same what we are expecting. If you are designing the graphics for the print media, and if you choose the CMYK mode of the color, which is not accurate, right? Because when you take the printout through the printer, what you see on your screen, the shades of the color is not the same when you take the printout. So make sure always choose the color precisely. And if you choose the 72 resolutions and when you take the printout, the quality is very blurry and hazy in the paper. So make sure always go with the exact standard resolution that is going to set by us according to the requirement. So that's how we can set up the document inside the Photoshop software.